Good evening. It's wonderful to be back with you again, isn't it, Ronnie?
It certainly is. And in a packed programme tonight, we shall be hearing about the Japanese businessman who lost a fortune in the wholesale trade, gave it all up and committed cash and carry.
But first, the news. Harold Trodd, British Rail's longest-serving porter, retired last week. At a simple ceremony on Platform 1, a colleague said a few words, after which the station master handed over a beautiful set of matching luggage, and Harold replied in the traditional manner. He asked him what he thought the bloody trolleys were for.
The Streetwalkers Union has decided, after all, to call off its strike. Said a spokeswoman, we shall be working flat out over the weekend as usual.
Bad news from Borneo about the 3rd Division team which fell into the hands of cannibals. When rescuers arrived, the tribe had eaten all 11 players and were warming up the substitute.
Recaptured on a 47 bus today was Aubrey Skinner, the man who broke out of jail on Monday after spending 35 years inside. He gave himself away by standing up for a lady.
Charlie Girosi, best known as Bimbo the Clown, took his Mini back to the makers today because one of the doors wouldn't fall off.
And finally, at British Leyland, a Go Slow was started today. Mr. Callaghan congratulated them on this tremendous improvement.
In the sketch which follows, entitled The James Boys, James Mason will play a Mason, James Fox will play a Fox, and James Burke appears as himself. Here, Norman.
Sir?
Good evening. Same as usual, please. Good evening.
Haven't I seen you somewhere before?
No, it's probably my brother you're thinking of. This happens a lot. A lot of people think. Well, can I buy you a drink? Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Gin and tonic, please. Is your brother very like you?
Yes, he is, in fact. He'll be here in a minute. In fact, to be honest, we are identical twins.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Oh, here he comes now.
You two are identical twins?
Yes, that's right, yes. Well, don't look so surprised. You must have seen identical twins before.
Anyone could tell you apart.
Oh, you're so clever. I mean...
Yes, very good.
You spotted it, didn't you?
If you look very closely, you can see that my eyes are slightly lighter than his. It's true.
See, mine are just a shade darker. You see that?
Not many people spot that, you know. No, very good.
You're a very clever girl.
What do you mean, clever girl? You're not remotely alike, let alone identical.
There you are, gents. Your usual.
Oh, wrong again, Norman. You mixed them up again. Oh, dear, he always gets them wrong.
They've been coming in here every day for the past 10 years, and I still can't tell them apart.
They're not a bit alike. One of them's, well, to be honest, a bit fat and flabby.
I'm sorry, I am not. Please, come on. I'm sorry, I've been taking off a bit of weight. I've been trying to lose some.
No, not you.
There you are. You see, even you can't tell the difference.
Of course I can. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Look, tell me your names.
I'm George.
And you're?
George.
What?
You see, even the vicar couldn't tell us apart.
Hello, darling. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, hello, my darling. How are you? All right? Yes, that's your husband over there, actually.
Sorry. Will I ever learn?
No, I enjoyed. You see, I think I've kissed her more times than he has. That's why I never got married, never had to.
There was one famous occasion where you had a night out on the town together and you didn't realise.
Yes, that's right. Is it the usual, my dear? Gin and tonic. Yes, there are advantages to being identical twins, you know. One gets a toothache, the other one goes to the dentist.
Oh, go on, pull the other one.
Yeah, that's what the dentist does, he pulls the other one. Do you remember that time I was done for dangerous driving? Oh. And I'd had 8 pints, so you took the breathalyzer?
And I'd had 11.
Yes, we got 2 months in jail, you know. Didn't mind, we did alternate weeks.
I say, well, it is very handy with clothes, you know. One of us goes to the tailor's, and both of us can wear the suit. Not at the same time, because that would look ridiculous.
It would look ridiculous anyway. You couldn't wear each other's clothes.
Do you know, as a matter of actual fact, these new jackets, I think we are wearing. I think, look, yes, there you are. It's George. This is yours.
Oh, God, is this yours? It is.
Yours.
It is.
Well, there we are.
Goodness me.
We'll just change. I'm awfully sorry.
Yes. Yes, I don't know how that happened.
No, never mind. Here we are. That's yours. That's it.
Yes, get these in. That's it.
Yes, better now.
There we are. Did feel a bit strange in some strange.
Yes, well, Dimmy does that sometimes.
Yes, he does. Yes.
He's a bit inclined to do that.
Yes, well, of course, it's a sort of... I think it's a mid-European thing.
Yeah.
This is...
You're all right? Oh, yes. That's it. Thank you.
There we are. Excellent.
Oh, that's much better. You can feel it, doesn't it?
It
Fits
is.
like a glove.
They don't fit at all. Everyone can see they don't.
Of course they do.
Hello, George.
Hello,
George.
How are you?
New jackets, eh?
Yes.
Nice.
Are they nice?
He's George as well.
Yeah, actually, we have been kidding along. We're not identical twins at all, really, are we? No. We're triplets.
Thank you very much.
Menus, huh?
Thank you. I'm sorry to barge in like this without actually booking. You know, I know the management object, but I just thought I'd dodge in and generally merge in with the company. Perhaps nobody would notice.
Oh, that's quite all right, sir. Can I get you a drink, sir?
That would be very nice. I'll
Have a gin, yes, naturally, sir. What would you like with it, a tonic, sir?
How do you know I was going to have a gin?
With your subconscious, sir. You mentioned it already 3 times since you come in, sir.
Have I really?
Yes, you said dodge in, barge in, and merge in. Yes, I always know what people want, you know. It's exactly the same with food. People behave like what they eat, you know, so yes. I always know by what they say what they're going to order.
How interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know about these sort of things, but I'd hazard a guess. You were talking absolute cod's roe, old chap.
No, not at all, sir, no.
Pure, unadulterated cabbage water.
Waiter,
What about this fellow? Now, what would his favourite dish be?
would you get me some cigarettes from the bar?
Well,
From the bar.
lamb.
Waiter, could I have my bill? Bit late. Got to make a move.
Make a what, sir?
A move. When you want to move, you want to move.
Beef.
What about that chap over there?
Quiet. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Quiet. Quiet, quiet.
Duck. Oh, yes, sir, all right. Listen to her over there.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Venison. Listen to him over there.
So I just went off for the weekend and stuffed everything into the back of the banger.
Sausages.
I wish I could, but I daren't. I'm too scared of her. Terrified. I just daren't.
What about him?
He's chicken.
Oh, yeah. I have lived most of my life in Hamburg. I love Hamburg. It is my home.
I suppose he's a hamburger?
No, sir, no. Beef stroganoff.
But he didn't mention Bert Stroganoff.
I know, he's got it all down the front of his tie.
I mean, she was absolutely wonderful. I mean, she had great big round, you know, and that low-cut dress, well, that made them all, you know. I mean, she really had wonderful, you know.
Dumplings. I'm going to set a little test to you. I'm going to say something. I'm going to ask you to guess what I'm going to have to eat. I must go down to the sea again, to the lonely sea and sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And don't say fish and chips.
No, sir, you're going to start off with a nice chicken liver patty, sir. You're going to have a lamb chop with cauliflower, new potatoes, trifle, cream, and coffee.
Well, how did you know that?
That's all we got left. Ladies and gentlemen, the Manhattan Transfer.
I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. I love Java, sweet and high. Whoops, Mr. Molo, I'm a coffee buy. Shoot me the pot and I'll pour me a shot. Oh, slimy slug of that wonderful mug, and I could rug till I'm stuck in a jug. A slice of onion and a raw one. Draw one. Waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. Boston beans, soybeans, and a little bitty green bean, cabbage and greens. You know that I'm not keen about a little bean, unless it is a chili bean.
Talk it, boy.
I love Java and sweet and high. Whoops, Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee bound. You shoot me to buy, and I'll pour me side to that thing. Rump, skeets over the baby.
Ooh, slip me a slug from that wonderful mug, and now cut a rug that's snug in a jug. Drop your nickel in the pot, Joe.
Taking it slow, waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. Yeah. A cup.
Yes, you see, so Sid's off work again with his leg.
What leg is that, dear?
Second leg of the darts match. He's all tensed up and erotic over it, you know. Well, he suffers from his nerves, you see.
Well, we all suffer from that, dear.
What, dear?
Sid's nerves.
Oh, yeah.
George is very erotic at the moment. Flies.
What, buttons come off?
No, flies off the handle. Least little thing, dear.
Oh, does he? Yeah. Of course, with Sid, it could be the strain of the new job, you see.
When did that start?
Next Monday.
That's what it is, dear, isn't it? Surely, the shock. Shock of it all, dear. Shock does very funny things to people, you know. All trembling and all that.
Yes. Did you read in the paper about that man who had a terrible shock? His hair went all bright salmon pink.
What, with the shock?
No, pot of paint fell on his head.
George gave me a shock the other day.
Oh, what, did he come up behind you again?
Yeah, gave me a present. Anniversary.
Oh, did you manage to get out of it?
No, as a matter of fact, he was just reminding me, because he's got a birthday coming up shortly.
Oh, is he? Sid gave me a wonderful present once. Could have been worth hundreds.
What was it?
Raffle ticket. So what's George going to give you then, love?
A new ball cock.
That's very nice, isn't it?
Well, of course, it's not just really for me, you know. Be for him as well, because both share that kind of thing.
Yes. What's the matter with this old one?
Well, it never did work, dear. Not properly, you know. It made terrible noise when he pulled it.
Oh, yes. Well, I can vouch for that myself. Because it shakes the whole street, you know. You can set your clock, my old George, you know. 8:10 every morning, regular as clockwork.
Always was, dear.
Yeah. Sid's going to give me a new low-level suite, you know.
I've often thought, dear, that sofa of yours could do with reusing. What are you going to have? Sort of uncut moquette, make it nice and soft and easy to touch?
No, I'm going to have a new low-level suite in the loo, dear.
Oh?
Yes, the lavatory. Yeah, he says I can have it if I'm good.
Good at what?
Just good, dear, just good. You know, obliging. Oh, there it goes again. Yeah, that sounds like his old one still. When's he going to fit the new one, then?
Well, as soon as he gets the new lock, dear, on the new lav door.
Oh, why? What's he done wrong with it, then?
Oh, dear, he does everything wrong. He's got a Yale lock on back to front.
Oh, that's daft, isn't it? You could shut yourself in.
Yes.
Are you going to give him the key, then?
For his birthday, dear.
Oh, when's that?
Week come Friday.
There you are, daft.
Spirit of the Ouija board, are you with me? Sorry if the glass a bit sticky. He'd had an egg flipping it last night. Spirit of the Ouija board, are you with me? Well, are you with a Woolwich? If there is a spirit in the room, give me a sign. What is your name?
It's me, Sid.
Sid? What, little Sid from next door?
Yeah.
Oh, dear, what a shame. Oh, how long you been there, Sid?
Well, I've only just arrived, haven't I?
Oh, that's terrible, that's terrible. I can't believe it, Sydney. Listen, does Lil know yet?
Yeah, I've just left in the bedroom.
Well, at least you went the way you always hoped you would, Sid. What's it like there?
Horrible and manky, it's what it's like.
Are you upstairs or down below?
I'm outside the door, George. Can I come in?
Oh, God,
What are you doing?
I'm doing Ouija.
Oh, I'll come back when you're finished. Her voice is you speaking to Eve, Sammy? What's...
Eve? She's not in here. I wouldn't be sitting here with the lights out if Eve was in here, would I? Makes it all unnecessary. I'm not daft, am I?
What are you doing? Repairing a plug or something, a fuse?
No. I got this Ouija board, you see, from the tallyman last week, and I'm trying to communicate with the dead.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be a lot of help to you, am I? I've got a job communicating to what's name living, haven't I?
No, you never know. You might be a natural receptacle, mightn't you? I mean, a lot of people are very sceptic about all this, but I know a bit about the supernatural, you see, because I once studied to be an average.
An average what?
Just an average, you know, someone who communicates with the departed.
You mean a medium?
I mean, some's medium and some's average, isn't they? What I'm trying to say is I used to study at the spiritualist night school, you see. We used to stare into these crystal balls and that, but, well, I'll give it up.
What, you couldn't see any future in it, you mean?
Nah, well, I mean, you see, they didn't take it serious. They all used to finish up playing pontoon with the tarot cards and all that, you know.
doesn't it? Who are you trying to talk to then when you're doing all that?
I was talking to Ede.
Ede? Where is she then?
She's somewhere across the vale.
What, across her sister's Maida Vale, you mean? What do you mean?
No. Across that misty twilight world where the soul is transported on its final journey.
She doesn't usually go to Tesco's till Saturday morning, does she? What, you mean she's dead, you mean?
Worse than that.
What's worse than dead?
She has disappeared completely off the face of the earth. She was in this room saying goodbye to me at 8 o'clock this morning. All she had to do was go down the cellar, get her basket on wheels, then down the high street shopping. That was 9 hours ago.
Oh, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is strange. Have you ever heard of the Bermondsey Triangle?
What, you mean that strange circle from which people disappeared?
Men have been seen walking down Bermondsey High Street 1 minute, and the second minute, gone.
Listen, I tell you what, that's got worse since that massage parlour opening and all.
Ede, you see, may be just another sadistic in this ever-deepening mystery. She may not have even reached the cellar.
Nor she did.
What?
No, this morning I was returning that camera to you, what I borrowed for the coronation.
Yeah.
I came past that cellar door, it was open, and I locked it.
Oh, good, thank you. Here, listen, put them lights out again. I'm going to try and communicate with her this time, come on.
If we're honest, I mean...
Here, put your finger on there.
Yeah.
That's it. Right, yeah. Ede, can you hear me, Ede? Listen, Ede, you see what I want to know? Where have you hid the holiday money? It's no good to you now, is it?
If I didn't know you better, I'd say that noise was coming from his cellar.
Now, I've narrowed it down to 2 possibilities, Sid. Either some alien spaceship in search of a human specimen has spotted her in Tesco's and has beamed her up now to some distant galaxy, or she has been shanghaied from the shopping precinct by a gang of white slavers and is even now in the clutches of an Arab prince who is treating her like a mere plaything.
Or I've locked her in the cellar.
Far-fetched, isn't it? Though, come to think of it, she did lock me in the toilet this morning, fair's fair.
Listen, were you being what she considered a trifle forward?
No, I wasn't. I was merely erecting her anniversary.
I reckon we ought to let her out as soon as possible.
Yeah, certainly, but not before you have spent a couple of hours furthering our search for spirits.
What, up the spiritual school?
No, down the pub. Come on.
All right, Miss Featherson, you can put your clothes back on again. All I want you to see. It's perfectly normal and a perfectly healthy girl. I don't want you to worry about it at all. However, just to make sure you're perfectly happy with the situation, I'll give you something to take away with you. Get you to take this once a week. It's a cheque for £25. Oh, dear, you do dress quickly. Well, I think I'll start seeing the patients now. Would you like to bring in the first one, please?
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Not at all, dear.
Mr. Reed, sir.
Oh, I see. Reed by name and rude by nature, it would appear.
I beg your pardon?
Are you showing your dissatisfaction with the health service, by the way? You can take your hands down now. You've made your point.
No, that's just the trouble, Doctor. You see, I can't take them down. They're stuck.
What's the matter with them?
They're stuck with Wonder Glue.
Wonder Glue?
Quick Start Wonder Glue 1, it's called. I was just using it, you see, and I went to scratch my finger with this thumb here, you see, and it stuck to my nose. And then I went to try and pull my hand off with this one, and it stuck to the other hand like that. It's wonderful stuff, you know. It sticks in a second.
Goodness me, it seems... Oh dear, it is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you suppose it dissolves in water at all?
No, I'm afraid it doesn't. I've tried that.
Oh, it's just the thing I need for my tropical fish tank, then. Oh, I thought today was going to be slightly advantageous. I'll make a wee note of
It's
that.
not very advantageous for me, though, is it?
But it's not serious,
Well, you haven't heard the whole story yet, have you?
No, I haven't. What's wrong?
I put a tube of it in my trouser pocket. And the top come off.
You don't mean it all?
Oh, no, nothing like that. No. It just spread all around the house, you see, and it's affected the whole family. I've got them all here.
Well, you better bring them all in. Let me have a wee look at them.
Yes, I will. Malcolm, come on in. Malcolm. This is my youngest, Malcolm. He was just doing his whistling bird impressions at the time. And, this is my eldest here, Kevin. He was just getting washed to go out. And this is Sandra, my daughter, and her fiancé. Well, you can see what they were doing, can't you? Yeah.
Oh, you are a funny lot. I must say, this will get a lot of laughs down the cottage hospital.
I know. It's not us so much, it's the wife I'm worried about.
Oh,
come on in, Rob.
tonight, by way of a change, I'd like to open by dipping, into the mountain of fan mail which has arrived, to be honest, following last week's joke, just a selection from the vast sacks of post and telegrams of congratulations that have been flooding in all week long. And let's be honest, I've had one letter. And no, why should I lie to you? I won't try to hide the fact that I never get very, very, very many fan letters. As a matter of fact, I get so little mail, my letterbox is healed up. As a matter of fact, the last time anybody had anything good to say about me was a couple of series ago, the drama critic of the Times literary supplement who said I was pushing back the barriers of comedy and reaching new, unexplored areas of humour. I think the actual wording was Ronnie Corbett's getting beyond a joke. But it was the same thing. All of which makes it so exciting that I've received this letter at all, only this morning. I haven't even had time to open it or read it myself. I just hope it's something nice. Here we are. Dear Ronnie, just a note to thank you for the endless amusement you have always given me. Last Saturday was the funniest yet. I still haven't stopped laughing. My husband will be away this weekend, too, so if you would like to... On to tonight's joke, he said. Now, I had a bit of a last-minute panic over this joke, actually, because what happened was I went up to the canteen at lunchtime. It was all a bit quiet up there because they were just holding a mass for the trifle. And as usual, the place was pretty deserted. Now, I'll be honest, the BBC canteen has seen better days. It's terrible. I mean, these days they're having to resort to cheap gimmicks to drum up trade. You can imagine our reaction last week when they announced they were going completely topless. Hooray, we said. No more crusts on the pies. Actually, I was going to open a restaurant with topless waitresses myself once, but I was put off by the enormous overheads. Then, of course, there was the canteen's other recent gimmick, 3 curries for the price of 1, so you got a good run for your money, but they had no takers either. Anyway, I went in, and as I entered, I noticed over in the corner table our producer, accidentally sobered up at that moment. He came over and he fixed me through the old double-glazed eyes and he said, "What rave from the grave are you planning to thrill us with tonight?" I said, "Well, if it's all right with you, I'm going to do the one about the man whose bedroom catches fire and the insurance company refused to pay up, because they maintain that he actually came home that night as pickled as a beetroot. In fact, his blood sample taken the next day had a head on it. And they're convinced he went to bed still smoking a cigarette and started the fire himself. Well, the fellow said, in the first place, he said, I was stone cold sober when I came home, and in the second place, the bed was already on fire when I got into it. Now, unfortunately, our producer didn't care for that one much. To be honest, I don't think he understood it. So I said I'd try and find another one. And I did what I always do. I got on to my agents, Sun and Goldberg. They're quite good, but they know nothing about billing. I asked them if they'd got any ideas. Now, I've been with them a long time. In fact, they actually got me my first job in the business back in 1952. I was offered a key part in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And stuff like the back of Charles Lawrence Jackson. Anyway, the story which my agent told me is this chap, you see, who is very interested in the subject of psychic phenomena. The kind of thing like when one day you suddenly hear from a person who died over 20 years ago. A bit like second-class mail. He happens to hear, this chap, that up in Scotland there's an old man who is actually a psychic expert and can read people's minds and teach them to see into the future. So off he goes to the Scottish Highlands. And actually, it's rather nice that all this happens in the Scottish Highlands, because at least if you don't find the joke funny, you can admire the scenery. Anyway, this chap goes around to the house of this weirdo with the psychic powers. You see, and he knocks on the door, which is opened by a rather roughly dressed, buxom maid, and he said, "Excuse me, but I understand the gentleman who lives here possesses incredible gifts of clairvoyance, can read people's minds, see far into the future, and generally is able to foresee everything that is about to happen in the entire world." She said, "Yes, that's perfectly correct. Is he expecting you?" To cut a long story not quite so short, he goes in and he meets this wizened little man who says to him, "Okay," he said, "for £500, he says, I will teach you everything I know about telepathy, and then you'll be able..." God knows where he came from. Anyway, he said, "Then you'll be able to read people's minds as well as I can." So the old man takes him outside into the garden. He opens the tool shed and brings out a garden hose pipe, which he fixes onto the tap. Well, this all seems a bit strange. The man said, "Look, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to teach me all about telepathy." And the old man says, "Look," he said, "trust me," he said, "I know what I'm doing." He said, "Just you take hold of the other end of this hose pipe," he said, "hold it up to your eye." I've got a feeling he's from somewhere near Arbroath myself. He He says, hold it up to your eye, he says, and have a good look down inside it. The fellow said, well, what's all this got to do with mind reading and teaching me how to see into the future? The man says, please, he says, do as I say. So he holds the hose out of that, and he stands there squinting down into the hose. Of course, the old man immediately rushes around the corner and turns the tap on. Whoosh, right in the fellow's eye, and the fellow's drenched to the skin. Well, he hurls the hose pipe down. He rushes over to the old man. He said, you know, he said, I knew damn well you were going to do that. The old man says, there you are. You see, we're halfway there, all right?
We really got a lot of rhythm on our feet. We got a mean guitar, we got a cha-cha-cha, we got a number with a rumba kind of beat.
From here to Santa Cruz, there's lots and lots of booze and quite a lot to send a bottle for the band.
So when we've had a beer with all the people here, you'll find the music's not the only thing that's canned.
And there's a senorita known as Brenda, the daughter of a local coffee vendor. She had a very massive hacienda, and we had a little cuddle around the back. The moment came for rent us to surrender. I hit a little snack with her suspender, and now she's feeling rather tender on the classy hacienda, and I'll spend another evening on my jack.
Down here in Mexico, we need a lot of dough for money, make a senorita fun.
Although it's hard to get a redhead or brunette for two posada, you can date a little blonde.
We like a best to play on our fiesta day, because a lot of senoritas like a lot.
They like a music fine, they like a lots of wine.
They like a little firecracker in the dark. I met the senorita con Rosita. Her figure, it was bigger and complete. By her sofa, she installed a parking meter. And she charged her for a cuddle and a kiss. For a cozy kiss and cuddle, you can beat her. You can fiddle, you can diddle, you can cheat her. But your other starts to teeter, popping pennies in a meter, so I treat another evening as a visit.
And the double time I do in my pocket when the government is through peanuts. That taxman's going to drain me dry, P-A-Y-E, and then N-I. I'm working hard, I thought I'd make a mint, so very hard I ought to make a mint, but every payday I'm still running skint.
Hooray, it's payday today! Oh, hooray, it's payday today! Hooray, it's payday today! Hooray, it's payday today! It happened in Monterey a long time ago.
My grandma, she lived in Madrid. She danced with a rose in her tea. People agree you really should see my grango. 78 and swinging her great fandango. Her tango was barred in Madrid, and Gran got run in by police. When folk luck to see her fantastic mantilla, her shawl had them all underneath.
My uncle Don Fernando, he got married. My uncle's 84 if he's a day. My auntie's 17, she wants a family, so uncle got the lodger in to stay. My auntie went along with that arrangement, and very soon my auntie rang the bell. Now my uncle feels okay, cause auntie's in the family way, and the lodger's in the family way as well. Telephone, it's not honestly to make a call. Your manual, you see, it's telegram. And trunk call he'll arrange, because he is our operator, manual exchange.
I'm very smart in a poncho.
I'm very smart in a Mac.
I like a fringe round the bottom.
And I like a belt round the back.
Rio Grande, sangaritas everywhere. Some are fat and some are bandy. If they're handy, I don't care.
so fast as a ignorant bandit. He thinks that he knows everything. He holds up a train with a pistol, and he holds up his trousers with string. Aye, 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 play the bongo, aye, aye, aye.
All the gringo call me Pongo. Wish I knew the reason why.
I had a nice little donkey. I fed it on nettles and grass. One day my donkey went wonky, and now I can't sit on my ass. Gringo, viva, viva, Mexico. Give bingo, and give me bingo. You can eat the Alamo. Hey! Greater than chattel, with a scandal and rover and prattle, but we never tittle or tattle, cause I'm keeping it under my hat.
A girl that I knew from Tuela, she had an affair with a sailor, and now she's as big as a whaler, but she's keeping it under her hand.
I was painted a fresco, depicting a popular sport, on the wall round the back of a Tesco, and now he's appearing in court.
My uncle say from Caracas, said women were driving him crackers, and that's how he lost his maracas, and he's keeping them under his hat.
Rosita and Pepe and Bella declare I'm a hell of a fella, but I'm not a kisser and teller. I'm keeping it under my hat.
I tell him a terrible yarn. I'm a 70-stone Casanova,
and a Portland 11 Don Juan.
When the girls of the money are fashion, with the fellas who give satisfaction.
And what is our biggest attraction?
We're keeping it under our hat.
We're keeping it under our hat. Hooray!
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's just about all we've got time for tonight, but before we go, a few late items of news.
The Irish team have pulled out of the round-the-world Grand Prix motor race. When asked why, they replied that they'd only hired the van for the week.
Further developments tonight in the case of the Hyde Park flasher, the man who jumps out in front of lady joggers stark naked. Eyewitnesses have helped police put together an identikit picture of his face, but are still not sure of his whereabouts.
Elspeth Bond, Lady Librarian of the Year, has at last had her baby. It was a month overdue and was fined 48p.
In Dublin tonight, Seamus O'Rourke gave himself up after tunnelling out of jail. He told mystified police officers that he was only practising for the big breakout at the end of the month.
Traffic news, a juggernaut carrying treacle is overturned on the M4. Drivers are asked to stick to the inside lane.
And mad scientists have crossed Danny LaRue with Spotty the incontinent dog and got a surprise package on Mother Kelly's doorstep.
And finally, at London Airport today, MPs returning from holidays all over the world waved their souvenirs at a waiting crowd. Mr. David Steele arrived from China and held up some china. Mr. Foote arrived from Turkey and held up a turkey. Mr. Callaghan arrived from Thailand and held up some ties. And Mrs. Thatcher arrived from Nicaragua and held up the traffic.
We'll be back with you again next week. Until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night.